I'd like to welcome you to the Planning and Zoning Commission on this day, Monday, May 19th at 6 p.m. Clerk, please call the roll.
Becker.
Here.
O'Flaherty. Here. Peony Graham. Here. Wright.
Here.
McMahon.
Here.
Chair Maxwell. Quorum present.
Thank you. At this point in the meeting, I'm going to ask for an approval of the agenda.
So move.
We have a motion to approve the agenda by Wright. Second.
I'll second.
Second by O'Flaherty. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The agenda passes. The next point of the meeting, I'm going to ask for an approval of the minutes from our last meeting as submitted.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve the meeting minutes by O'Flaherty. Second.
I second.
Second by Peña Graham. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. This is the public participation portion of the meeting. If there's anybody in the audience that wishes to speak of something that is not on the agenda, this is your opportunity to come to the podium now and say your piece. Seeing none, I'm going to close the public participation of this meeting and open it up for new business. At this point, we have one item of new business on the agenda. Tonight, we have a public hearing, a petition by the DeKalb Park District for a special use permit to allow the construction of a new public swimming pool at 1403 Sycamore Road. A variance is also requested to allow an 8-foot-high chain link fence around the perimeter of the pool facility. Is there a presentation from the Park District? If you can come to the podium and state your name and address for the record and give us your presentation.
Good evening. My name is Steve Nelson, 27560 Jerry with a G-E-R-R-Y Lane, Sycamore, Illinois. I am the CEO of Larson and Darby Group, the architect for the Park District. I'm here with the Executive Director, Paul Zippesauer, and I'll give you a quick little background. We've been working on the project since 2019. Talk of a new pool has gone on for probably 30 years. Having lived in the community for just as many years myself. We have gone through a number of generations, have at this point now taken bids and are waiting for IDPH permit approval for the pool itself. Demolition has already taken place on the site of the old Hopkins pool and all the associated buildings and slides that were with it. We're asking for that variance because, as I understand, even though a pool has been on that site since 1935, because the old pool that we took out was built on top of that old 1935 pool, and some of the piping was still from that era, that was never zoned appropriately for that space. So that's why we're asking to kind of clean that up officially for that variance. The pool itself will be a new zero depth entry pool. It'll also come down to about 5.5 feet in depth. It'll have 6 25-meter lanes that can be used or opened up for open swim area. There is also going to be 4 slides off of the single slide tower. 2 of them will go into a plunge pool that's connected to that zero depth pool. And 2 will be what I call on-deck slides. They'll come out and slide out onto the deck of the pool itself for younger users that aren't quite ready to plunge into the pool itself. There'll also be a splash pad play area for young toddler-aged kids and non-swimmers. That's where you see the dump bucket and things like that in the picture. The slides are all now concentrated in one corner of the site instead of spread out on the campus. The old concession building, mechanical building, has been demolished. A new mechanical building will be built on essentially the southwest side of the building. They will house all the mechanical equipment. And then on the park side, towards the northwest corner, basically, where the gazebo is in back, where the park opens up to the band shell and things like that, that will be the main entry area. You'll have concessions on one side, entry, lifeguard, first aid offices on the other. There's no longer going to be a stair connection between the second floor of the existing building and the pool deck, because the lifeguard's office used to be up on that second floor. That's no longer going to be there, no longer need for people to go up and down that stair. The footprint is slightly smaller than the previous footprint that was there as far as deck area. There is no diving well. There used to be a diving well. There is no diving well anymore. They chose to go with 4 slides instead of the diving well and 2 slides. There's emergency access on that south side towards where the underpass for the bikes and walkers under 23 is located. And the pool usage will average around probably 750 up to 1,000 users per day. We are also taking the existing building's first floor, where the old locker rooms and bathrooms were that you passed through, and separating those out. There will be new locker rooms renovated in that space that will serve just the pool side, bathrooms, showers, changing areas, and locker space. And then the opposite side will serve the inside terrace room that exists on the first floor at the Park District building, so they can use that for events, meetings, weddings, what have you. They won't be crossing over between the swimming pool, and those functions will function separately. So no 4-year-olds running around in swimsuits at the weddings anymore. So with regards to the fence itself, we're requesting an 8-foot fence. That's what was previously there. And it'll be a new vinyl-coated black fence that goes around the entire perimeter. It is primarily a liability and safety issue. One, to control access into the space, but also in off hours to make sure nobody's willfully climbing in there and potentially causing vandalism and or harm to themselves, like drowning potentially, especially if younger kids are trying to climb the fence. So trying to get a higher fence than 4 or 6 feet. So that is the very quick summary of the project. We are on our second round, going in for our second round of comments with IDPH, and if things all play out the way the timing is with the state, hopefully by the end of this summer, they'll actually be doing the construction work so the pool's ready for next Memorial Day.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Happy to answer any questions.
Is there a staff report?
Yes, Steve went through it very well in the background of the project. And as mentioned, the site zone, single-family residential, has been a pool, of course, been there. The previous one was built in 1974, but there's been a pool in that footprint since the 30s. And there was in your packet a picture of the old,
Yeah, there it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you could say it's legal non-conforming and single-family zoning, any governmental building or facilities a special use permit. So we thought we'd have them get, the special use, get in legal, away from that legal non-conforming use. So, and Steve went through all the details of the proposed pool very well. As mentioned, work is expected to start this summer and open in June or May of 2026 next year. There is one variance for the fence, 8-foot-high black coated chain link fence. It's shown in the red dashed line there on the exhibit, going around the perimeter site, except on the west end where there's buildings, so there's no access through there. So the variance in single family, you can't have an open fence over 4 feet in the front yard. So the fence is going up by Sycamore Road, of course. And as I mentioned, they need that height for security purposes. This is a photo of the old fence, which was 8 foot high too. So it's going to match the height of the previous fence. They need that for security, so nobody's jumping over that. So, and this will be black coated chain link fence. So you can see some of the color renderings of the proposed pool there. And that's the site plan for it. So standards for special use, we believe they meet all the requirements. There's been a pool there for decades, so no negative impact to the surrounding area. It's going to have basically the same footprint, and for the variance on the fence, they need that height. It's somewhat, it's a residential requirement, but it's kind of a commercial in nature type of use, so they need that variance to provide the proper security and safety for the people. We did get one written comment from Mason Properties noting support for the request. They own the shopping center right across the street on Sycamore Road. That was the only written comments we received. So as before, with variance is decided by the commission, special uses recommendation, so I prepared 2 sample motions we need 2 motions and 2 votes for those. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, and Paul Zeppazauer, as the director of the district, is here to, if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Is there anybody from the public present that wishes to speak on this issue? Seeing none, I'm going to close the public participation portion of this piece of the meeting, and I'm going to open it up to the Planning and Zoning Commission for questions, comments for Steve or Dan, or the Park District.
No, I think for what it's designed to do, it's a nice layout.
Thank you.
I think it's modern. I like the zero entry. That seems to be where everyone's going these days. So I like it.
Thank you.
How big is the building that you're going to build? It's on the, it will be on the south parking lot or on
Which one are you looking at?
the maintenance building there? Is that it? Is that a new building?
That one, the one that extends down long and narrow, that is the new mechanical building.
And what's the footprint on that?
What's that?
How big is that?
That is about 20 feet wide and about 38 feet long, I want to say.
In the old building, it was combined with the concession stands?
So the concession stands are on the opposite side now, so the main entrance will be from the park side as opposed to through the building.
Okay.
So the main entrance is there, correct? And it's flanked with, as you look at the plan, on the right side is concessions, on the left is controlled entry, and then first aid and lifeguard office.
Okay.
And the separate areas, so the entire concession area will be fenced with a lower fence on the inside of the pool area, as well as the entire youth or child splash pad area.
Okay,
And they'll run their summer camps there, just like they have in the past.
very good.
So you had indicated that it will accommodate between 750 and 1,000 users?
Correct.
What was the old pool accommodation?
It was up to, pretty close to 1,000.
Okay.
Because it was a large, with the 50-meter pool, it was a large body of water.
Right.
There are 2 calculations, one, number of users per area, surface area of water, as well as pool deck.
Okay.
So, but the difference to that is like the diving well. If you have a diving well with 3 boards, like they used to have, the occupancy for that entire body of water is 3, one at a time. So it's an expensive proposition for that, where the main pool, you can obviously average more, because they can have those lanes up in the morning for lap swimmers, and peel some of them back, and maybe maintain 2 for lap swimmers during the day, and let the larger pool be open for free play with the youth, so.
And you're adding some parking, correct? To the
Yes, we're remaking the parking lot on the north side as well.
And
correct.
expanding up here, I think,
Yep,
to
a
some
little bit,
spaces, yeah.
yep, correct.
So additional parking will be provided,
Mhm.
not just for the pool, but other activities at the park, so.
Yeah, that is correct.
You said this is a smaller footprint than,
The overall, like, paved area, yes, because as you see in this picture, that 50-meter pool is a big chunk, so that kind of pushed the edges out a little bit. There's actually a little bit more usable deck surface than the old pool has in the new pool, because of the way it's laid out.
the locker rooms and all that will be the same? Is there any
They'll be,
renovation to that?
well, they'll all be brand new, and they're laid out completely differently. So you won't be able to get through the whole building. It'll only serve the pool side, and it's accessed from within the pool area. Bathrooms, as well as lockers, showers, and changing area.
It has no impact on the play area outside of the pool, right?
No, they redid that last summer, I believe it was, wasn't it? Yeah, but the nice thing is that now that being the concessions around that corner, it has a window in both directions. So people using the park can access
Nice.
the concessions without having to enter the pool.
Nice.
That's good.
So can the pool be utilized by like the swim teams? Can they
You could,
have
the swim teams
meet-
can still use it, it's just 25 meter instead of 50 meter, so more laps. Yeah,
It's the same pool that's at the Y now, but
Mhm.
less lanes. This has less lanes,
yep, correct.
so no, not for summer swim.
All right.
All right.
Any other questions for Steve, for the Park District, or for Dan?
All good?
All right,
What's the, you said the timeline now, you're looking at the
Yeah,
end of summer?
well, if the weather cooperates and tariffs and all that fun stuff cooperate, we should be open in time for Memorial Day, if not early June. IDPH, Illinois Department of Public Health, is the driver for all things pools. Their first review takes a minimum of 3 months, and it took almost exactly that for this. We received comments a couple weeks ago, responding to those now. They'll be resubmitted here in the next week or so. Then usually the second review is about 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, and there's always a third one, but that's a quick turnaround, 2 to 3 weeks. So we're hoping by mid to late summer, they can actually be doing real work on the pool itself and the infrastructure, because all the infrastructure around it is pretty much being upgraded, storm drainage, water lines, power lines, all that stuff.
Any other questions? Maria, anything?
No.
All right.
It's too late.
All right. All right, seeing no questions from this board, does anybody want to make a motion on this? If they do, I'm going to ask that we start with the motion for a special use permit.
I'll do it. Based upon the submitted petition, testimony presented, and findings of fact, I move the Planning and Zoning Commission forward its findings of fact and recommend to the City Council approval of special use permit to allow for the construction of a new public swimming pool facility at 1403 Sycamore Road per the site plan dated 4/7/25 and exterior elevations dated 3/21/25, labeled as Exhibit A.
We have a motion on the floor from Becker. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second from Wright. Clerk, please call the roll.
Becker,
Yes.
O'Flaherty,
Yes.
Pena Graham,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
McMahon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. I need a second motion. This is on the variance allowing the 8-foot-high privacy fence.
I'll make that motion. Based on the submitted petition, testimony presented, and findings of fact, I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission approve a variance from Articles 7.06.2 and 7.06.5 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow an 8-foot-high black-coated chain link fence around the perimeter of the pool facility, as shown on the site's plan, fence detail dated 4/7/25, labeled as Exhibit B.
There's a motion on the floor from O'Flaherty. Is there a second?
I second.
Second from Pena Graham. Clerk, please call the roll.
Becker,
Yes.
O'Flaherty,
Yes.
Pena Graham,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
McMahon.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you, guys. Good luck with your progress. Seeing no other new business on the agenda, I'll move it on to reports.
Yes, next meeting, June 2nd, we have 2 hearings, 626 Spring Avenue, that's a variance for a fence on a corner lot. We had a few of those last summer, so this is the first one. And then Little John Elementary School, they want to amend their special use permit to extend the time they have the mobile classroom on the property for 3 more years. So it requires a hearing also. At the last council meeting on May 12th, they did approve a couple items the commission did make recommendations on, the Oakwood Cemetery expansion. They approved that. And also the plat of re-subdivision on Owens Lane, combining the 2 lots
Okay.
for Marshall Dirks, that was approved also.
All right. All right. Thank you, Dan. Is there any reports from the commissioners? Seeing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion on the floor from O'Flaherty, and a second from Wright. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Good night, everybody.